everyone, welcome back to Sarah's Bites. Today I wanted to show you guys how to make my beef lasagna that is always a big hit with my family. So let's get started. We'll start by making our meat sauce since that does take a little while to cook. So you're going to need a big pot or a pretty deep pan like I have here. And to that add 2 tablespoons of olive oil on about medium heat and then add in about 1.5 pounds of beef, and I ended up using the 90% lean beef. Start to break that meat up a little bit and then add in 1 medium chopped onion. I ended up using a sweet onion, but really any onion that you use will work. So that's completely up to you which kind you want to use. Now before adding any other ingredients, go ahead and let these cook together for about 3 to 4 minutes until that meat starts to brown and you don't really see any more pink. And I just like to use a potato masher. I find it's so much easier to break all that ground beef up. Once your meat is brown, you're going to add in 4 minced garlic cloves, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and 1 teaspoon of oregano. You're going to let all those cook together for about 3 to 4 minutes, just making sure that you're stirring occasionally. Next up, we're going to add in tomato sauce, and I don't like to go overboard with adding all sorts of different types of tomato sauces into a lasagna recipe, so I just stick to 1 24-ounce jar of tomato basil sauce that you can buy at your store, whatever brand that you like. You can also try marinara. I just prefer the tomato basil. It does have a lot more flavor to it. Give that a quick stir and then add in 1.5 cups of either water or chicken broth. I personally like chicken broth better because it does add much more flavor to your sauce. But water will work as well. You just may need to adjust seasonings at the end when you try your sauce. Go ahead and stir all of this together, bring it to a quick boil, and then turn your heat down, stir it one more time. Just cover it with the lid and you're gonna let all of this simmer for about 1 hour. While your sauce is cooking, we're gonna go ahead and get the cheeses prepped. So you're gonna need 16 ounces of freshly grated mozzarella cheese, so that's 4 cups, and then 1 cup of freshly grated parmesan, and go ahead and also chop up about 3 tablespoons of fresh parsley. And another thing we'll prep is boil 9 lasagna noodles according to the package directions, and then when they are done, just pour that hot water out and add in cold water so that they do not stick. Also make sure that depending on the size of your lasagna dish, I have a 9x13 pretty deep one, but if you have one of those longer ones, boil 3 extra noodles because you don't want to be short on lasagna noodles later when you're assembling everything. Next up, we're gonna make our cheese mixture. So grab 1 large mixing bowl and you're gonna beat 1 whole egg in there. And to that egg, you're gonna add in 1 15-ounce tub of full fat ricotta cheese. Then we'll add in 1 cup of that shredded mozzarella cheese that you have in that big bowl. So either eyeball it or just separate it with a measuring cup. You're gonna add that in there, and then you're gonna need 1/2 cup of sour cream as well. You'll also want to add in 1/2 cup of your shredded Parmesan cheese that we prepped earlier. So throw that into the bowl, and then your 3 tablespoons of chopped parsley, and stir these together very well until everything is combined. Set your cheese mixture aside and go ahead and start prepping everything so that we can assemble the lasagna as soon as your meat sauce is done. So make sure you're checking on that meat sauce occasionally because it is going to be simmering for a whole hour. And I also recommend tasting it to see if you would like to add more oregano, salt, or pepper, or anything like that. And now for the fun part, we're going to go ahead and assemble this lasagna. So throw a little bit of meat on the bottom of your deep dish pan because you don't want anything sticking. So get the meat in there and then add in 3 lasagna noodles. And remember, if you have one of those wider and longer lasagna dish pans, you're gonna end up using 4. So just kind of eyeball that and see how many noodles you need. And on top of the noodles, you're gonna add in 1/2 of your ricotta mixture. Spread that evenly over the noodles, and then we're gonna add in 1/3 of our meat sauce. So 1/3 out of that pan, and you're gonna spread that all over the cheese mixture. Now you should have 3 cups of mozzarella cheese left in this bowl because remember we only used 1 cup earlier. So go ahead and spread 1 cup of mozzarella on top of the meat, and you can, again, as I said, eyeball that or just use a measuring cup to measure it out. And now we'll just go ahead and start repeating the process all over again. So you're gonna add your noodles and then add in the rest of your ricotta cheese mixture on top. Get some more meat on there, so another third of meat on there, and then another cup of mozzarella cheese on top. And then one more time, we're gonna do noodles again with the rest of your meat on top, and then the rest of your mozzarella cheese on top of that. And then the last thing you'll top that lasagna off with is the rest of your shredded Parmesan cheese, which should be half a cup left in there. Make sure to preheat your oven at 375, and then you're gonna cover your lasagna with foil, and you're gonna bake that for about 20 minutes with foil, and then take the foil off and do another 20 to 25 minutes. So it really depends on if you like those crispy brown edges on top, which I love, so I leave mine in for another 25 minutes with no foil. But if you like the noodles to be a little bit softer and not browned on the edges, like you can see right here, then I would leave that foil on for a little bit longer and maybe bake it for about just 15 minutes with no foil. And that is it, you guys. I hope you love the recipe as much as we do. Please let me know in the comments below if you give it a shot, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoy watching this video, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next week with the next recipe. Bye.